Hi everyone, welcome to Build With Shreya, where ideas and stories inspire you to build something extraordinary. And today on our channel, we have Dr. Phillip Nölling from DPV Analytics in Hamburg. And we're going to learn a lot about how we can better our health. So let's get started.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here with you and to, be in your podcast.
So what is the quickest way you describe to someone who knows nothing about your business?
So we develop modern technology and ways to prevent heart diseases. That's essentially what we're doing.
So what's one myth in your industry that you feel people should know more truth about?
As I think one myth is that people think we are really state of the art in the medical area. Mm-hmm. So if you look at the systems being run there, mostly they're very old. Mm-hmm. And so we're not really technical leaders in that field. And we try to change that, at least with cardiac diagnosis.
And so what shifts have you seen in the last 3 years in your industry?
I think AI is a major topic because in the medical field, we have a lot of data. Mm-hmm. And to analyze data, AI is very strong and very good with that one. Mm-hmm. The cumbersome stuff with that is, of course, it has to be certified. Mm-hmm. Which takes a long time. It's not only programming and seeing how it works, but also then actually making sure that everything is secure and that you get a certificate at the end.
So tell us a little bit more in detail about, what you're doing at DPV Analytics.
So we've been founded by 3 leading cardiologists in Germany who are running the biggest practice in Germany with more than 120,000 patients. Mm-hmm. And they were very frustrated about the technical devices they had on hand. So normally an ECG is with wires and it's very expensive and the software is also not very good. So the doctors had to do a lot and you cannot scale that one. So what we are doing, actually, we bring new technology into this field. So we developed our own ECG, which is very small, like this one. Mm-hmm. You just put it on your chest, and then you just forget about it, and it records everything. Then we have a groundbreaking AI, which analyzes all 35 possible arrhythmias at your heart. And in the end, and I think that's a clue, each and every report is being validated by our own doctors. So you really get a report, you can get treatment if necessary. So you don't have to wait anymore.
And so what was happening till now in your industry? How are these things being measured and analyzed? And what were the pitfalls that you were able to identify to see, this is a better way to do it, or let us do this? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to imagine that the old hardware and the old software from the 1980s or 90s, where it's based from, really asked the doctor to check everything. Mm-hmm. So if you have a recording, for example, for 3 days, what we recommend to make sure that you don't have anything with your heart, it's more than 1 million heartbeats. And with the traditional infrastructure, the doctor really has to go through and monitor everything, which is really weird. Mm-hmm. So our AI is doing that, and we have a heat map on that one. And wherever the AI is not sure, our doctors are stepping in and controlling everything at the end. But by that, you can speed up by 95% with regard to the old systems.
So what's the best advice you have got about navigating the field that you're in?
The best advice was actually don't get frustrated too fast, because it really takes time to convince hospitals, to convince insurance companies, to convince smart device producers to use your system takes time. Mm-hmm. Now we're in the market, that's very nice, but it took us some years.
What's one framework or mental model that you use in your day-to-day work to make your life easier and how it works for you?
I think it's to enable your staff and your people to work independently. Mm-hmm. Because we are a small company, we have to be very quick and we work in, as we call it, experiments. Mm-hmm. So whenever we find a field where we think it could work, we really go in there and make it very quick. And you can only do that if everybody's aligned and if the people really have self-esteem and like actually also to work in a field where you have a lot of projects and where you have a kind of uncertainty, which is also fun.
What, according to you, is the biggest mindset shift that people need to undergo with all of this digital transformation sort of coming into the picture?
I think one thing is not to be feared, because it's mainly new techniques. On the other hand, it has so many chances where I think it's very important that people can also think in project, as I mentioned, so that they can really think from the beginning in how to pursue. And it's not the standardized behavior anymore. So you really have to be a little bit flexible and creative, and then there's a lot of chances and a lot of fun.
Can you share one example of how automation or AI has improved something in your work, in your company, or any process that you have seen not working so efficiently before?
Yes, if you talk about long-term ECG, it took 80 minutes from actually putting it onto the customer, to the patient, until the recording had been actually evaluated and so on. And with us, it's now 6 minutes for the practices. So it's really speeded up the process using AI, and also having a proper gear which you only glue onto your chest. You don't have to need cables and so on.
What's the toughest lesson that your industry teaches people very early on when they dive into it?
I think it's actually two. One is that it's really slow in a lot of fields. And the other thing is, when it comes to certification, that can be a nightmare, because we have to be certified under medical regulation, and that can take years. So imagine you're being a company and investing a lot, especially, I mean, you have expensive staff which do all the producing and all everything and programming, and then it could take years. Even everything is ready and you could use it until you're allowed to do that. That's really, really difficult.
So, if somebody was starting in your field today, what would you recommend them? Do you have any gaps or opportunities that you've identified around yourself that you feel, okay, if this is done, world might be a better place?
So if you ask about tasks people should bring in, I think it's very important that people know a little bit about coding and programming, because otherwise you don't really understand the field anymore, I think. And the other thing is actually to be self-organized and to be curious, to see what's out there, and to bring all of these things into the field.
What do you think is the biggest mistake that people make when they come into your field?
What I mentioned before is that it is a medical product, and you cannot just start or try or whatever. It really has to be proven, everything. It has to be documented in a really, really tough way.
I'm sure you go through a lot of articles, research studies and everything. So what are few recommendations when it comes to books, podcasts, or articles that you keep coming back to because they're so informative for you?
Okay, that's now really nerdy stuff, because there's a lot of publications out of the medical area where we look in, because of course we compare our system with other systems and what the Americans are doing, but also in India is a very important point for that one. So I cannot really recommend it here because it's very specific. I'm sorry for that.
So your specific areas requires a lot of domain knowledge as well. It's not just building a software. You need documentation to be done for the certifications. You need doctor help for the techniques that are coming in. So how do you bring in that kind of a diversity in the team together and make sure they're working in the same kind of work ethic going forward? How has that been for you? What challenges did you face, and what do you think is the future scope for it?
So we have a very diverse team. So 50% male, 50% women from different fields. And we are aligned by one mission, which is actually, and the purpose, to reduce the heart diseases worldwide. And therefore, it's quite easy actually to get the people aligned. We have low hierarchies. We have a high degree of flexibility. So the people have a lot of tasks they can do and also choose, because we have much more workload that we can cope with. So we really have to decide what to do in a very flexible way. And I think people enjoy it. And I have to be careful that everything works well. So my major task is actually that the people feel good and then and have the ability to work together.
No, that's phenomenal. And as you earlier mentioned as well, that word of mouth now, like people want to be joining a company. So you don't really need to.
We don't have to hire at the moment. The people are coming to us.
The culture itself is, driving more people to the company. Yes. So that's amazing. I also want to understand, how do you see the future 10 years from now in your industry?
I think in the medical field, we see two major developments. One is actually a dramatically growing demand, which is due to aging society, of course, unhealthy lifestyle, but also a lot of people tracking themselves now with all these smart devices. And so they really want to go to the doctor and ask him, my watch recorded something, how can I deal with that one? On the other hand, we have less and less doctors. So that's a big mismatch. So we really have to think about how can we take the analysis part out of this sector, so that the people are not going to the hospital to say, I had something with my heart, and they have to detect that, so that this has been done before. And that's actually what we're offering. Also with regard to smart devices, so in 45 countries worldwide, you can meanwhile use our service. Just send your ECG to us, and we're validating it our doctors within 24 hours.
No, I think that's groundbreaking because there's always more demand for the doctors than they are present. So early diagnosis at the right time is something that everybody needs to be making sure they're taking preventive actions for their health, as long as also corrective, but also preventive. So that's amazing.
Just maybe two questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? How often does your heart beat a day?
I have no idea.
It's 100,000 times.
Wow.
It's more than 3 billion times during your lifetime.
Okay.
And how many liters of blood being pumped through your veins every day? Up to 10,000 liters.
Wow.
So we should really take care of our heart.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I think I'll probably take a myritmo and also see how my heart health does in the future.
Do so.
So it was really great having you, Dr. Phillip, on
Thank you very much.
the
It was my
podcast,
pleasure.
and hope to seeing more innovations going forward, and really looking forward to success in this industry, because we are seeing so many early deaths because of cardiac health issues. So this is definitely an area that needs to be more preventively taken care of early on in life. So yeah, until then, bye-bye. See you, everyone.